Hello everyone and welcome to the 2020 Bahrain Non-Grand Prix on the 2019 F1 game from Bahrain Circuit in Bahrain. Tyler McDonald here in the booth alongside me, Chris Cato, as what should be a very nice race. Beautiful day here in Bahrain as we get set. 5.4 kilometer track along this desert sand, 3 DRS zones, and of course we have the full 15 turns on this track, and that very tricky turn 9 and 10, that tricky left-hander, Chris. We see a lot of mistakes there in years past. What are we going to see in this race?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of what's typical of a Bahrain Grand Prix, punishing on the rear tires, tricky braking zones like you mentioned, but should be in for a good one. The Mercedes locking out the front row once again here in Bahrain, but hungry Dutch Lion, Max Verstappen, sitting right behind comfortably in P3.
Down on the grid, we go to Shaker Barty. Shaker, Lance Stroll starting 14th.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good start for him this year. He's hoping to get a little bit more in the top 10 positions this year.
P20, we have Robert Kubica, and not exactly the start that he wanted down in P20, is it?
No, but this is typical Williams this year, and this is probably what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the season. Them in the 19th and 20th grid position with the car that they have this year.
Starting grid here, as you mentioned, Chris, Mercedes on top, lock out the front row. Hamilton 1, Bottas 2. We have Max Verstappen in P3, Charles Leclerc in P4 in the Ferrari. His teammate Sebastian Vettel in P5, and the other Red Bull, Alex Albon, will line up in 6. Sergio Perez, best of the rest, in P7, and Lando Norris in the McLaren in P8. His teammate P9, Carlos Sainz, along with Renault in the top 10. He made it in P3, Nico Hülkenberg. Kevin Magnussen in P11. Danny Kvyat will be in P12, the lead Toro Rosso. Romain Grosjean in P13 with Lance Stroll, as we mentioned earlier, in P14. Antonio Giovinazzi in P15 for Alfa Romeo, and Pierre Gasly will line up in P16. The Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen, in P17. Daniel Ricciardo went off in Q1. He's lining up in 18th place, and the Williams lock out the back row. George Russell 19th, Robert Kubica in 20th. Gentlemen, as we get set here for the formation lap, Chris, what's going to be the crucial point in this race? All teams, interestingly, starting on the C4 tires.
Yeah, we're looking at another one-stop race here. Obviously, a much shorter race here than what is usual, but I'm going to be really interested to see what the two Ferraris can do behind the quick Mercedes in a straight line, and can they match the power of Mercedes down the 3 DRS zones that we have here in Bahrain.
There you see Valtteri Bottas right now, of course, the number 2 driver with Mercedes. How can he get past Hamilton and try to keep him behind here after turn 1? Maybe make a dive bomb?
He's going to need to make a quick start, but remember, slipstreaming very critical on this circuit as well. So if he gets past,
conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
No rain, says the Alfa Romeo as we are in the desert. I hope Kimi has a sense of humor.
I think that was a pretty obvious one, right?
I hope so.
No rain expected in the desert. But anyways, so yeah, I think very important that Valtteri gets a good start, but watch the slipstream effect even if you do overtake a car. We got 3 long straights here.
You see Daniel Ricciardo's crew did a fantastic job to repair that car overnight. He went barreling hard into the barriers after a brake failure going into turn 1 in Q1, and he's looking to make a rebound starting 18th.
Yeah, very unfortunate accident there for Renault and Daniel Ricciardo, but if there's one thing that we do love, it's Daniel Ricciardo starting from the back of the grid. He's going to make some overtakes today. Should be a good one.
Shaker, any news from the pits on all these teams starting on the C4 tires?
They're not too sure about Daniel Ricciardo's car at the moment at Renault over there. They're really hoping it makes it across the finish line. After that the terrible crash in Q1, they're really hoping to make a recovery.
So some interesting stuff for Daniel Ricciardo. He'll be battling, as what Shaker says, a tough race car. Renault not too sure on the reliability in this one as the Mercedes head on to the grid. Any final thoughts on this one, Chris, before we get going?
A couple of burnouts ready to go, getting all the launch settings in place. A couple of drivers doing some clutch bite point checks as well. This is the time in the race. The nerves start to go up, the anticipation starts to go up. You're focused on those 5 lights and what you need to do. A great time for here in racing.
As the teams line up, we just wait here for George Russell and Robert Kubica to file on the straights. And they seem to be ready to set in their grid position as we have lights ready to go here in Bahrain. And we are underway from Sekir as Hamilton gets a good start. The McLarens jump out here, but it's a fantastic start from Lewis Hamilton going toward turn 1. And he will sweep through on Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen on the outside gets past Bottas. Can he sneak on the inside of Hamilton? Verstappen up to P2.
And it seemed like Vettel trying to get involved on his teammate in there. And here's Valtteri coming back on Verstappen, what I talked about earlier, the slipstream effect going into turn 4.
Valtteri making some drive off turn 4. Can he beat the power of the Red Bull down this side? Going toward it. Max Verstappen powers a little close. They may have touched there. Valtteri had to back out of that one.
Very close there, of course. These front wings so delicate, which is wider cars as well. So close, I thought they were going to make contact.
Lewis Hamilton now has a 1.5 second lead already here on Max Verstappen as they head in to turn 10 in this DRS zone.
Of course, no DRS until the end of the second lap. This is straight engine power right now at the moment.
Kevin Magnussen working his way up as they go too wide into turn 10. Down on the inside, his teammate Romain Grosjean fighting with the McLaren as they go back down the back stretch. And let's see what K-Mag can do here going toward this next turn. He's just going to wait and see what these two guys can do. Grosjean can't get past the McLaren as up. I believe that's Carlos Sainz getting past Romain Grosjean. Back toward the top of the field, Max Verstappen. Still ahead of Valtteri Bottas there. Although his gap increasing toward Hamilton, Verstappen in P2. Here comes Bottas, making a move on the inside. Bottas powers his way with the Mercedes engine. Is he going to be the outbreaker? And he will as he comes up into P2. Verstappen trying to hang it around the outside. He keeps it along the outside and steals P2 right back from Valtteri Bottas. What driving from Max Verstappen. Now here comes Sebastian Vettel. He wants a little piece of this. And he's going to be knocked away from Valtteri Bottas. Bottas having to look at his mirrors from behind and realize his Max Verstappen out in front as Sebastian Vettel looked to have a keen eye there on the fin. Beautiful racecraft from Max Verstappen, and that's where you see the nimble aerodynamics of the Red Bull at work. Very strategic from Verstappen as he stays ahead of Bottas here coming into turn 10. Big lock up there for Bottas as well, as you see once again Lewis Hamilton just coming away with these things. He can drive out so easily in that Mercedes. He seems to have it locked in on the second lap. Yeah, gap's already up to 3.2 seconds now. And here comes Valtteri trying to make a move here onto Max Verstappen. Valtteri up the inside. Verstappen once again. Can he hang it around the outside? They're side by side going toward the S's here. Valtteri hangs it around the outside and grabs P2 back from Max Verstappen. Great commitment there from the Mercedes driver. Definitely not an area we expected a lot of overtakes today, but very nice move there from Valtteri Bottas. And now we're going to see again raw Mercedes power versus raw Honda power. And oh, I think Vettel touched there with Max Verstappen. Did Vettel get a touch on Verstappen as Verstappen's rear right tire have a puncture? Seems all right for now. Vettel going up the inside here as we head toward turn 1. DRS is enabled here on lap 3. Vettel's going to go up the inside and he can grab P3 right now momentarily, but Max Verstappen back up the inside once again, cuts him off. Purple lap from Lewis Hamilton as well. What an exciting race so far here in lap 3. A 132.2 from Hamilton. He's really stretching his advantage out front, but let's keep an eye on whether Sebastian Vettel suffered some damage to the front wing there. Max Verstappen seems okay as he continues here, but once again, Verstappen pulling the same tactics again going into turn 1 and beautiful defensive work to keep his position. They sneak along behind him, Max Verstappen, trying to get past Valtteri Bottas once again as they head toward here, turn 10. No real lockups on this time. Nice run out of the turn from Sebastian Vettel. He's going to have DRS along with Max Verstappen as they try to reel in Valtteri Bottas. Here comes the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, just too far behind to make a dive bomb there. Let's take a replay here at the race start, Chris. Yeah, pretty good start here from Max Verstappen. Not a lot of wheel spin, gets away cleanly, but didn't get as good of a start as Valtteri Bottas here. But nonetheless, Max pretty confident on the brakes going into turn 1 here. He's finding a lot of grip there on the outside and beautiful move on Bottas. You see Sebastian Vettel here. He had a much better start than his teammate Charles Leclerc off the line, didn't he? Yeah, the teammates were getting really close here. The two Ferraris going into turn 1, but
Vettel managed to stay ahead here. Oh, so close as Leclerc just itching his front wing there, but stays ahead of his teammate.
Charles Leclerc right now, the trail Ferrari. Carlos Sainz here starting P10. Oh, what a start from Carlos Sainz. Look at him. He seemed to almost jump that start as he's behind Sergio Perez.
Yeah, second phase of the start, not as clean though as they go into turn 1. But look at the Toro Rosso, Danny Kvyat all the way from P12, jumping up to P8, slotting right in behind the racing point of Sergio Perez. What a move there from Danny Kvyat.
Danny Kvyat currently in P8 as well, the torpedo they call him, as he's in a points-paying position right now. Here we see Sebastian Vettel all over the back of Max Verstappen. Vettel trying to set himself up here on this next corner.
That's a strong start. Well done.
It's just a well done to Max, making sure that he realizes that there's a hungry Ferrari behind him here on lap 4. Sebastian Vettel. Him and Max Verstappen have had collisions in the past. Those two are definitely know each other very well, and we'll see if they can keep it clean here. They're not deciding to go for a dive bomb on this turn was Sebastian Vettel, but these two have been rubbing trading paint before, haven't they, Chris?
Yeah, they've rubbed elbows before, of course. We all remember Shanghai in 2018. Max diving down on the inside of Vettel and spinning both of them out. So this is a good battle here. I mean, Max Verstappen's not going to give any room on this track. He's already shown it in the opening 4 laps of this race, and it's going to be tough for Vettel to get by, but he has to be smart, and the 4-time world champion, you can tell, biding his time, trying to get it done on the straights with the help of DRS. He's within that 1 second as they head down into the 3rd DRS zone.
There's Lewis Hamilton checked out in front once again. 4.5 second lead he's built out now here on lap 4, and seems to be in a race of his own. Valtteri Bottas is the one creating the snake, and he may have even extended over 4 seconds here, Chris. He's really out in front.
Yeah, the battle really is from P2 all the way down into P6. That's a thrilling battle so far, and even farther down here in the midfield between Kvyat and Sainz.
Sainz gonna go down the inside of the Toro Rosso. Can he stick it on the move? Side by side here, entering the S's. Kvyat down the inside. Who's gonna stick it around? Still side by side. What fantastic racing here from Secure. Sainz getting the better exit. He's gonna pull ahead of Kvyat, and he sneaks into P8. What a move from Carlos Sainz. Commitment from both drivers here on lap 5. I believe now back the other way comes Danny Kvyat on the straight, and an easy pass into turn 1. All that room, all that work for nothing for Carlos Sainz, and he has to do it all over again.
So difficult to maintain position around here, especially with the cars being so close, DRS enabled, so you got to really be strategic almost with where you're going to overtake the car in front.
Back to the top of the grid as the last podium position is being battled for right now, with Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel still driving away at each other. Some interesting notes on the rest of the grid. Lando Norris has dropped back behind the Haas's and Nico Hülkenberg in P13, and we mentioned Hülkenberg's teammate Daniel Ricciardo at the start of the race having those brake issues. He's sitting behind the Williams right now. He's dropped down a position, P19 right now for Danny Rick, as George Russell has moved into P18.
Russell, very good opening lap, but yeah, you're right, Tyler. Ricciardo's struggling a lot in the early stint of this race, 5 laps in. But I wonder if Norris might have an issue of some sort. I'm not sure. He had some decent pace off the opening lap, was right behind his teammate Carlos Sainz. So let's keep an eye on whether that McLaren is still in good shape.
Yeah, he seems that Antonio Giovinazzi had now passed him as well. So down to P14 for the McLaren. Maybe they'll have to bring him in on an undercut a little bit early here as we get ready for pit stops coming in, well, possibly the next lap here. Our pit reporter Shaker already down there ready for all of the information as Sebastian Vettel makes a move down the inside of Max Verstappen. Can he stick it off the... Oh, it's 3 wide on the turn 1. Verstappen on the outside. Oh my goodness, what crazy racing there as Sebastian Vettel got into the grass. Now back the other way, Valtteri Bottas trying to defend from the 2 Ferraris behind him. And we have a yellow flag, double wave yellow in sector 1 here right now. We'll have to wait and see what that's for, but Max Verstappen gets out of that mess into P2.
Yeah, what a move there from Verstappen. Vettel put Bottas out of shape. And it is Lando Norris going
Lando,
slow.
Oh, that's Lando Norris with mechanical failure here, and yeah, that engine is toast.
Losing power, it's going. It's broken! Anti-stall. It's off. Back!
Ah, no, a heartbreak for Lando Norris. Lap 6, and that's going to be a virtual safety car here, and well, we might get busy along the pit lane. Virtual safety car for these drivers.
Caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
Well, you can see Hamilton out in front. I wonder what we're going to see here. We're going to see a double stack, or are we going to see certain teams come in? It'll be very interesting. There's a virtual safety car here.
Depends how long does VSC last for, but we could see the runners behind Hamilton pit, but we're not sure exactly how long the VSC is going to go for. And it looks like green flag, so they're already back to racing. So let's see who comes into the pits in this lap.
Well, the marshals have done a very good job here at Bahrain, and now we're going to have a whole host of drivers coming into the pit lane. Oh my goodness, I believe Sebastian Vettel just knocked off part of his front wing here on the back of Valtteri Bottas. Shaker, into you.
It didn't look really good there. McLaren looked very concerned at the moment. I'm over here at the McLaren area. It looks like Ferrari's rushing in to see what's going in the front of the car. I'm really hoping to get an update real soon. I'll back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Shaker. And we saw some work going on the front. Sebastian Vettel held up by the rest of the drivers coming into pit lane, and a long pit stop for the Ferrari, as that's going to really cost him in this race, isn't it, Chris?
He absolutely made contact with Bottas on the exit there in the pit lane, and that's going to definitely cost him a few places. I agree, Tyler. That front nose cone change probably going to add an extra 7-8 seconds onto the pit stop. So very, very weird situation there for Vettel.
I'm not sure. Daniel, they won't be happy over in the Ferrari garage with what Sebastian Vettel has done in their race, putting pressure on. As we see the two Alfa Romeos here battling of Raikkonen and Giovinazzi.
Interesting part of the track here. We've seen a lot of overtakes in action happen here in the sequence of turn 11, 12, and 13. Obviously, Max and Valtteri battling on the outside here, so we didn't really pick out this spot as an overtaking zone at the beginning of this race, but...
Pitting this lap, then come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Well, Hamilton is coming into the pits here. Shaker, if you can run down to the Mercedes garage and see what Lewis Hamilton will be doing here on his pit stall, as he's going to be coming in from the lead. And here comes Lewis Hamilton. Go down to Shaker right now.
Looks like Mercedes might be going with the medium tires here. They're really hoping that Mercedes makes up some of that time that they just lost on the pit stop against Verstappen, and gets it towards the end of the lap, while Verstappen's tire degrades. Oh, it looks like Verstappen might actually be coming in as well.
Oh, yeah, Shaker, I believe that's Alex Albon that's coming in.
Oh, my mistake.
That's okay, they look alike. But thank you very much, Shaker. Much appreciated down there on the pit lane, working hard, as usual. And we'll see what other updates. Let us know if you have any other updates there, Shaker, from pit lane. As Valtteri Bottas now goes down the inside. Verstappen trying to answer. There's some traffic coming out of the pit lane. Charles Leclerc with the undercut contact between the Red Bull and the Mercedes, I believe. Valtteri Bottas, does he pick up a puncture, I wonder?
He lost a massive piece of his front wing end plate. I'm not sure how Verstappen made it out of there without a puncture, but Max Verstappen, no regard for any competitors, just threw it down on the inside, and he's got P2.
Charles Leclerc coming out of the pit stop, the overcut, it was working very well for Ferrari there as they got out just almost in front of Verstappen. And take a look at this replay here from Max Verstappen's point of view. See, he comes down the inside, and here comes Charles Leclerc, just way too much speed going into there.
Leclerc almost made the strategy work, and here we see it from Bottas's angle, and just comes straight through. Oh, that could have been a much nastier one for both drivers. All three drivers still in the field, and here's the angle. Leclerc minding his own business, coming out of the pit lane, and here comes Max. Yeah, there's that large piece of the front wing end plate that Valtteri lost.
Leclerc had nowhere to go there. Max went down the inside, pretty much cutting Leclerc off as he was coming out of the pit lane, and yeah, a definite contact there between Verstappen and Bottas, and I wonder what the stewards are going to be saying about this one.
Look at how close Leclerc was. Is he going to run it over? Oh, Leclerc lucky not to have a puncture after running over that piece of carbon fiber.
Back to action we go now as we're on check here with Leclerc on that damaged Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, checked out in front. Another purple lap from him.
131.6 from Lewis, extending the gap. Really, the race is coming down to second place all the way to fifth. But Hamilton, so good as a front runner out in front. But here comes Leclerc, the battle. This is where it's happening.
Charles Leclerc up the inside. Can he get past? Locks up and makes contact with Bottas. Bottas being used as a battering ram. He sticks it along the outside down this front stretch. I believe Bottas has DRS. He does, as Leclerc with that Ferrari power. Meanwhile, Alex Albon maybe licking his chops here behind. He's got DRS, as Bottas will set it wrong and come back into P3. Little paint car in there as the racing point of Sergio Perez is sticking along with these top tier guys.
And of course, Tyler, we got to follow whether Valtteri Bottas is going to have some sort of an issue with the car with the lack of downforce on the front end. Of course, sustaining that damage. I don't think that they'll bring him in now because they want to keep his position.
Update from the Mercedes garage. Shaker Barty.
It looked like Valtteri was suffering here a little bit, but Mercedes are going to let him stay out a little bit longer and see how he does. He had a good overtake against Charles Leclerc there as he was about to come up, so they're gonna let him go and stay out of the race.
Thank you very much, Shaker. As key information coming from the Mercedes garage there that they're not going to give up this track position, are they, Chris?
Yeah, I think that's the right move for now. He seems okay, but we have to wait until the next couple of laps to see if he's going to suffer a little bit more. But Leclerc all over the gearbox. Team ready?
Excess of fuel. We can turn up the engine to mix mode 3 if you need it. Turn fuel to rich.
Oh, so they're giving Leclerc all the power to get by a hampered Mercedes Valtteri Bottas here, as they want this Ferrari to get by Charles Leclerc with extra engine power. Can he sneak it up the outside here as Valtteri does a good job putting his car? Valtteri locks up, but doesn't seem to hamper his corner at all. As now Charles Leclerc down the front stretch will grab DRS here. Engine mode into quali position as he sails along the inside. Back there, Sergio Perez is going to go down the inside as well. Of Alex Albon, Perez is up into P5. Sergio Perez with a big dive bomb there. Charles Leclerc into the podium to P3.
Opportunistic, and of course with the lack of pace from Bottas, it's bunching up this group now. We've even seen Vettel catching onto the back of Sergio Perez, and Alex Albon might want to have a look as well.
Sergio Perez, I believe, was in P5 for a second, but that was overtaken. Shaker Barty in the pit lane.
Red Bull's asking Alex Albon to put on a little bit of pressure here against Valtteri Bottas. They're seeing the damage that he's taken from the front wing and want to take some advantage of that, and the fact that Charles Leclerc just took him over. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Shaker. So expect engine mode into quality position for the Red Bulls here, as well as Bottas is now falling slowly behind down the order with lap 11-14 here in Bahrain.
And of course, all this good news for Albon's teammate Verstappen, who's pulling out a decent gap ahead of Charles Leclerc, but now Leclerc has some free air. But look at the row of cars here. Bottas, Albon, Perez, and Vettel just mere inches apart as we head down to the start-finish straight.
Sergio Perez defending from Sebastian Vettel there. Alex Albon looking to set up Valtteri Bottas here for P4 in this Grand Prix, and they gave him all the engine power, DRS. Here comes the Honda-powered Red Bull up the inside of Valtteri Bottas. We know how strong this Mercedes engine is. Who's going to be the last late breakers? It's Alex Albon once again, and he's going to go up into P4. And now Valtteri Bottas has the racing point of Sergio Perez behind him that he has to worry about.
Yeah, it looks like almost that Mercedes power was going to be enough just to keep him ahead there.
Leclerc behind. Our gap behind is 3.3 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 32.6.
Verstappen getting some key information there as Charles Leclerc looks to wrangle him down into P2. Lewis Hamilton still checked out in front in P1 as we're on board here with Sebastian Vettel looking hungry as trying to get past the racing point of Sergio Perez up in P6 right now. Fantastic result for Racing Point. They're going to be happy with their race so far.
Absolutely, and Perez managed to avoid all that drama in the opening couple of laps, but still under pressure here from Sebastian Vettel. but it seemed like Verstappen a little bit struggling there in the second position. Lost 4/10 to Charles Leclerc on that previous lap.
Take a look at the rest of the grid right now. Kevin Magnussen in the last points-paying position with Carlos Sainz trying to get by him, and Daniel Ricciardo seems to have a little more knowledge about the new brakes that he has on his car, up into P15 right now as he works his way up the grid. Robert Kubica currently sitting in the last position as where he qualified. And of course, Lando Norris out of the race due to an engine failure earlier around lap 6 to 8, I believe that happened, as Sebastian Vettel looks up the inside there of Perez, goes up and over the curb, but can't get by the Mexican.
Much more cautious than he was when he went on Verstappen just a few laps ago.
Here comes Kevin Magnussen here in P10 trying to get past Nico Hülkenberg. 3 wide, they're going to go down to this midfield. 4th position, Magnussen, they touch there, and Hülkenberg's going to get by along. There's Romain Grosjean. They stay in the same order that they enter turn 1. Everyone just barely getting by there. Here comes Magnussen, though, once again up the inside of Hülkenberg. Is he going to go past Grosjean here as well? No, he's going to think better of it against his Haas teammate. Hülkenberg staying with it along the outside. Great battle here for P9 and 10 in this Grand Prix. Hülkenberg along the outside. And, here comes Kevin Magnussen back. Magnussen down the inside. What a fantastic battle in midfield. And they still keep going. Romain Grosjean starting to pull away.
And of course, we know the history between these two. Just think back to Hungary a couple of years ago. No love lost.
Magnussen locks up. Pardon me, that was Nico Hülkenberg that locked up there. He's going to squeak by and stay into P9.
That's that tricky turn 10 that we were talking about pre-race, Tyler. Downhill, off-camber braking. Very easy to snatch a left front and lock up there. It almost seemed like he locked up both wheels on the front axle, but Hülkenberg stays ahead. A great battle here for the last points position. And now Carlos Sainz also getting involved.
Here's Sebastian Vettel as Valtteri Bottas getting passed here by Sergio Perez. Perez is going to go up into P5.
There it is again on turn 12 on the inside. Can he make it stick?
Oh, he does up the inside. Sergio Perez, fantastic work by the Mexican, having a great race in the Racing Point. And he goes into P5. Valtteri Bottas now is going to go back up the inside. Sebastian Vettel along the outside. 3 wide, are they? No, just 2 wide as Valtteri Bottas tries to get his position back in, just nicks ahead of Sergio Perez. Now here comes Sebastian Vettel, the German of the Ferrari, going down. He's going to get 2 for 1 here. They're split. Valtteri Bottas and Vettel's going to go up now into P5. Perez still battling with Valtteri Bottas. He sneaks into P6. Bottas now all the way back into 7th place. What racing here on the last lap of the Grand Prix.
Veteran move from the 4-time world champion as Bottas sails past Sergio Perez here, or maybe not.
Perez trying to hang around the outside, and he will stick it for now into P6. Well, it's been a race that no one has pressured him at all, Chris. Lewis Hamilton has been out in his own postal code here, and a fantastic race by the Brit in another dominant fashion by Lewis Hamilton.
Just a nice quiet drive, 14 laps of the Bahrain International Circuit. Easy doing for the 6-time world champion. Clinical performance.
Lewis Hamilton crosses the line, your winner of the Bahrain non-Grand Prix on F1 2019, but it's really 2020 here on the BackMarkers F1 channel. Lewis Hamilton once again.
Get in there, Lewis. Awesome drive there, mate. Awesome drive, absolutely stellar.
Well, just an easy ride for Lewis Hamilton as we go back toward the rest of the grid. It's Max Verstappen a ways away trying to hold on to P2. Charles Leclerc.
Much closer, though.
Yeah, he has been gaining about half a second a lap. Charles Leclerc has all the engine modes in his availability right now as he tries to sneak P2 from Max Verstappen. As they head toward the final corner here, Max Verstappen is going to hang on. Max Verstappen will grab P2 here to the delight of the Dutch fans in the crowd. Charles Leclerc will grab the final podium position in P3. Fantastic work from both of them to grab the podium.
Great racing to finish it off. A well-deserved podium there for Max Verstappen and also Charles Leclerc.
You can see the look at Toto Wolff. He's got to be excited with Lewis Hamilton. He gets the win, but Valtteri Bottas does suffer a P7 result. They will be happy to take home the win, though, as Mercedes will once again, but Tough result for Valtteri Bottas. He's going to be once again in the shadows of Lewis Hamilton, unfortunately. There you see Daniel Ricciardo finished P15 after that tough result in qualifying after crashing, starting P18, makes 3 positions. Tough for him as we go to the podium here to celebrate what a fantastic race this was here in Bahrain.
And that win brings him just ever so closer to Schumacher's all-time wins record. Lewis Hamilton on the top step of a podium. We've seen it so many times before, but Max Verstappen close behind. The youngsters, Verstappen and Leclerc, putting on a show here in Bahrain.
Nice to see 3 teams on the podium as well. A Mercedes, a Red Bull, and a Ferrari here from Bahrain. What a race it was, and can't wait to have our next race. Here we look at the final results here. Lewis Hamilton, 26 points, picked up the fastest lap, and look at that lap as well. The only one, and the 131's a fantastic stop, or race by the Brit. So take a look at the rest of the standings. Magnussen gets the final points paying position. Lando Norris, our only non-finisher in this one after suffering an engine failure on lap 6.
And a great drive from Romain Grosjean as well to come up into the points. Made up a lot of opening positions, and we really enjoyed that midfield battle today between the likes of Haas and Renault. Just a great day of racing overall.
Well, Chris, after this fantastic result, and Shaker, we'll get your input on this as well. Who is your driver of the day?
I mean, it has to go to Lewis Hamilton. He led the entire race, just kept it up there in first place, and just made it across the finish line, made it look easy.
Yeah, we'll see what the fans have to say about it. Max Verstappen certainly also brought a lot of excitement there. Lucky to not be reviewed by the stewards, though, on that overtake on Vettel and Bottas making contact there. So Verstappen very lucky to keep that podium, but Hamilton agreed there with Shaker. Completely clinical all day long, bags the 26 points and another easy victory.
Well, that's just our expert opinion, but to the fans, you have voted, and our driver of the day is Sergio Perez in the Racing Point, who gets a P6 result, and fantastic result for the Mexican.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of those Mexican fans were putting out the votes there, but a great drive from Perez, especially for a midfield team like Racing Point, to be mixing it up with the likes of Mercedes and Ferrari, and not just on one lap, on multiple occasions. We remember that amazing overtake on Bottas in turn 12 on the inside, so well earned for Sergio Perez.
Well, we thank you for joining us for what was a fantastic Bahrain non-Grand Prix here, presented by BackMarkers F1 Show. We hope you had a lot of fun joining along as well. What a fantastic race it was, and we hope for real F1 to be back. But if you guys have enjoyed this content, make sure you let us know, because we could continue this as long as F1 is gone and give you guys some sort of entertainment during this tough time. We hope everyone is staying safe, washing their hands, and staying home and staying healthy. And we hope for the best for Chris Cato, Shaker Barty, and I'm Tyler McDonald. Thank you so much for joining us for what was an off video for us, but a lot of fun to be a part of. We'll see you next time.